What's up? It's Cody from the Keepers of Nerdom. How y'all doing? So let's talk about Star Wars The Mandalorian. I believe it's episode 6 that just came out yesterday. I have serious questions and concerns, and this is the point where it's funny, like everything about it was quote unquote Star Wars, if you will, but for some reason it didn't feel like Star Wars, and it just felt cheesy, cheap at times. Not always cheap at times either. That's what was bizarre. Like there were times where it felt right at home Star Wars stuff, but then it was randomly cheap and fake and silly and not like getting you invested in the world at all. It was bizarre, super bizarre. So there's going to be spoilers in this. There's no way it really can't be without just being, a minute and a half. But this truly was, I don't know if it beats out episode 3 as far as bad, but it was definitely not good, right? Okay, so here's our spoilers. The beginning shows us Mandalorians in old Empire ships and stuff doing bounties, essentially. So they're actually doing what the show's supposed to be about. Cool. And then we almost see fish people kisses, and it was weird because there was random tentacles and stuff almost. It was bizarre. Like, okay, this was a thing. I mean, they looked good as far as their quality of the CGI and other things, sure. But it was bizarre. I tell you what, just seeing it in a way. So that scene wasn't bad by any means. It was okay, like setting up stuff. And then you've got Bo-Katan, and there's Din Djarin with her. Apparently he is on the trail with her, because this is the Mandalorian show, so he has to at least be in it. He's not going to be the focal point of most of it, but he's going to be in it. And there is a scene where Din Djarin is the focal point, and that's good. But man, okay. So they go to this planet. Somehow they know where those Mandalorians are, even though it seemed like Bo-Katan hadn't been with them for quite some time. They go into this town, this city, and they're immediately like locked down, and their ship has to fly in, and it's under autopilot by the city. Which, side note, if that technology exists, that seems like the most powerful technology of all the time. And obviously we've seen it like A New Hope, where their controls they don't get locked, they get pulled in with like tractor beam stuff. But this is straight up, it took over their ship, and they have no control, and it doesn't seem like they can do anything about it, or they don't want to. So, okay, maybe if they don't want to, they could do something, but it just seemed like they couldn't. It was bizarre. Then they get taken to the leaders of the city and the planet, and lo and behold, it's Lizzo and Jack Black. And I tell you what, Jack Black, there's times where he can do a really good job. Like Jumanji, I really enjoy him in. Like, those are fun films. But here, it's like he's struggling to not smile the entire time. And at the beginning, when he's being cordial, it works-ish. But then he just constantly has this like half smirk on his face, and it just ruins everything. It really isn't good. It's bad. So Lizzo, in the entirety of the stuff, she's the queen of the planet, and Jack Black is like her consort, married into it, and he was also from the Empire as well. Cool. And so they can't have any guns in the city, but they can hire the Mandalorians, but they have to stay outside the city. But Din Djarin and Bo-Katan can come in because they're not hired, maybe, and then they can shoot stuff for them. Okay. And so they send them on this mission to figure out why their droids are malfunctioning. And Grogu stays with Lizzo and Jack Black and helps her play not croquet. And it's cheesy as all get out. And then Grogu, by the way, gets knighted at the end of the show for no reason. Like, there's nothing that justifies it at all. He's literally sat by the queen's side, and she's like, "You're a knight now." But I thought you couldn't have weapons. But okay, sure. Because totally, she grabs out a sword and knights him. So apparently that's not a weapon, because it's not a blaster. But anyway. Yeah, so they're sent on, Din Djarin and Bo-Katan are sent on this mission. They meet up with the head of like security, and it's Christopher Lloyd. Side note, I love Christopher Lloyd, but he is getting so old. He is not capable of being in any sort of action, and there's very little action for him to do, granted. But the thing that he does at one point is stand up, and it seems like he actually just in standing up is CGI'd. It's hilarious and cheesy all at the same time. It's bad. And he's like, here's the problem. It actually helps them. And then they go talk to the Ugnaughts that are down below. And Din Djarin, this is his one good scene that he's like, yeah, I spent time with him. I know how to talk to him. Which is true, right? It makes sense. And it's fun. It's an enjoyable scene. It's like the only good scene in the entire episode. And then after that, it's just the Bo-Katan show. Because she takes over and goes, let me handle it. And granted, some of it's because, like, obviously he doesn't like being around droids. And that does make sense to an extent. However, he does have good ideas that are working in the fact that he starts just, like, after talking to the Ugnaughts, kicking some of the super battle droids in the loading docks. And one of them finally just flees because he gets freaked out or something. Then after chasing them and shooting down the super battle droid, they discover that he was at a droid bar, which that's a thing. Okay. And apparently, yes, droids do quote-unquote drink, and it's nepenthe or something. And what it is some sort of oil-like substance that also is programmed to give them some feeling of yay, happy, good times. It's hilarious. Like, it's so stupid. This is just, it's just bad. It's bad stuff, right? And you're like, okay, so now droids drink and they can get happy. Okay. And so then they take it to some technician with the nepenthe and look at it, and lo and behold, under the microscope, it's got all the instructions and tells who created it and designed it. So this is a really big deal. It's weird, it's silly, it's goofy. And then lo and behold, the droid that didn't even like install it in him, but was like syringed as far as I could tell, goes crazy and haywire. And they discover, yeah, it's Christopher Lloyd's character. And they go to arrest him, and he's like, I'm a separatist, and the Jedi cut him down, and then Bo-Katan stops him. But it's like he stands up out of his chair, and it's too fast for him, so they like CGI it. It's hilarious and silly and cheesy. Just understand, like, nothing in this episode really feels truly like Star Wars. Like, there's a problem. There's a serious problem. And all that to say, it gets even weirder because they take him to the king and queen, and he obviously doesn't like Jack Black's character because he was an Imperial. And then Lizzo's just like, shame on you, so bad, we trusted you. And then immediately he all of a sudden goes, I'm sorry, I will try to be better. And she just goes, okay, maybe you will, but for now you have to go to you live on exile on some moon or something. And it was like, wait, he was all gung-ho to literally like tear this entire planet down to its knees. Then why didn't he just push the button that he was threatening everybody with that would make the robots revert back to their programming? Why not just push it? Just push it. If that's what you wanted and you were a separatist, just push it. Cause the chaos. I don't know. It was so stupid. And it's like, Christopher Lloyd looks like he's like 107. And I like him as an actor, but this just doesn't make any sense. And he's going, I will try to be better. Maybe I'll get another chance. You're like, you're going to die in 6 months. There's no way. It was bad. And then it doesn't even end there because Bo-Katan goes and fights the head Mandalorian because they all disagree with her. And then they're like, well, we really can't follow you anyway, even though you won because you don't have the Darksaber. And then Din Djarin's like, actually, it got taken from me by a robot on Mandalore, and then she saved me with it, so it's hers. That's not a combat. That's not a duel. And I'm pretty sure that in the review thing at the beginning of the very episode, they added a word to what the governor dude from season 1 and 2 said. And I think they added the word again. I don't remember them saying that, and I wouldn't be shocked, because even if you go back and watch it, they would have added it into the actual episode too. It's very, very dumb. Let me know down in the comments below where you're at with Star Wars Mandalorian stuff. I'll be honest, like, this really made me want to go. I'm kind of just done. And that's frustrating, because I've enjoyed the show. It's not been perfect, but man, this is a low bar. I've been Cody from the Keepers of Nerddom. Take care, y'all. Have a good day.